So this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Soul Man, 1986. This is going to be another Grammy recommendation. Guess who's coming to college? Soul Man, comedy with heart and soul. I'm giving this 4 out of 5 stars, even though some of the jokes are lame. It still comes off as funny in my view. Sorry if that offends anybody. Soul Man is a 1986 U.S. comedy film directed by Steve Miner and written by Carol L. Black. C. Thomas Howell stars as a white male law student who pretends to be black in order to qualify for a scholarship. Its title refers to the song of the same name by Isaac Hayes and David Porter. The original soundtrack includes a version performed by Sam Moore and Lou Reed. All right. So I guess I should just say music by Lou Reed. I don't know who Sam Moore is. Never heard of him. Anyways, I'm giving it 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was pretty decent comedy. The film gained controversy, however, with Howell's makeup drawing comparisons to blackface, which prompted protests against the film upon its release. Despite the controversy and negative reviews from critics, Soul Man was a commercial success, grossing $35 million on a $4.5 million budget. And the production companies are Balcor Film Investors and the Steve Tisch Company. The distributor is New World Pictures, which is Roger Corman's and Gene Corman's outfit that was founded in 1970 after he left AIP. Release date October 24th, 1986. Running time 104 minutes. Country United States. Language English. Budget $4.5 million. Box office $35 million. Not bad return on investment for a film that is allegedly racist. Mark Watson is the pampered son of a rich family who's about to attend Harvard Law School, along with his best friend Gordon. Unfortunately, his father's neurotic psychiatrist talks his patient into focusing on his own happiness instead of spending money on his son. Mark is denied a student loan, and the only scholarship he sees is for blacks. He decides to cheat by using tanning pills in a larger dose than prescribed to appear as black. Watson then sets out for Harvard, naively believing that black people have no problems at all in U.S. society. However, once immersed in a black student's life, Mark finds out prejudice and racism truly exist. He meets a young black student named Sarah Walker, whom he at first only flirts with. Gradually, however, he genuinely falls in love with her. In passing, she mentions that he received the scholarship she was in running for at the last minute. Due to this, she is not only has to handle her classes, but work as a waitress to support herself and her young son, George. Slowly, Mark begins to regret his decision as he continues to experience problems because of his skin tone. Mark is jailed with uneducated slovenly locals who take out their frustration with the team's loss to black athletes by assaulting Mark. He also finds himself subjected to sexual harassment by the landlord's daughter, Whitney, who is eager to explore what she perceives to be the exotic thrill of sleeping with a black man. Yeah, this guy is super lucky. He gets into Harvard Law School on a black scholarships, and he's got this crazy white one, Leslie Nielsen's daughter, chasing him around. After a chaotic day in which Sarah, his parents, who are not aware of his double life, and Whitney all make surprise visits at the same time, Mark drops the charade and he publicly reveals himself to be white. He is surprised to find that many are willing to forgive him after considering his reasons for doing so, but Sarah is furious. Mark has a private conversation with his professor, played by James Earl Jones. He has learned more than he has bargained for, admitting that he still doesn't know what it is like to be black because he could have changed back to being white at any time. Mark forfeits his scholarship, but he gets a loan, albeit at 25% interest from his dad. All right. Producer Steve Tisch offered the role of Mark Watson to Anthony Michael Hall, Tim Robbins, Anthony Edwards, Val Kilmer, and John Cusack, all of whom declined. This movie reminds me a lot of Better Off Dead for some reason. But Better Off Dead was better movie than this, I have to admit. Star C. Thomas Howell later said, "When I made the movie, I didn't go into it with the idea that I had a responsibility to sort of teach the United States a lesson. I went into it because it was a great script. It was so well written, so funny, and sadly very true. A lot of the experiences this guy goes through, maybe he wouldn't have gone through them if he was a white person, but when he's black, it's a very different experience." Ron Reagan, son of then President Ronald Reagan and First Lady Nancy Reagan, had a small role in the film. Oh. Okay. What role did they have? I don't know what this is talking about. Okay. The film was widely criticized for its use of makeup to make a white actor appear black, which many compared to blackface. Members of the NAACP spoke out against the film, and an African American student group at UCLA organized a picket of a cinema screening Soul Man. Probably all this publicity from the civil rights movement, it probably sold more tickets, kind of similar to what was that movie that generated a lot of controversy with gays? It was Basic Instinct from 1992, also had this kind of phenomenon. NAACP chapter President Willis Edwards said in a statement at the time, "We certainly believe it is possible to use humor to reveal the ridiculousness of racism. However, the unhumorous and quite seriously made plot point of Soul Man is that no black student could be found in all of Los Angeles who was academically qualified for a scholarship geared to blacks." In defending the film, Tisch compared it to Tootsie, 1982, which featured a man masquerading as a woman for career advancement. He used comedy as a device to espouse sexual stereotyping. I think Soul Man uses it to explode racial stereotyping. The film was seen by President Ronald and Nancy Reagan at Camp David. The Reagans enjoyed the film and especially enjoyed seeing their son Ron, a White House spokesman said at the time. Controversy aside, the film was panned by critics. It has a score of incredibly low 17% on Rotten Tomatoes from 24 reviews. Roger Ebert gave Soul Man 1 out of 5 stars, writing that the main premise is a genuinely interesting idea filled with dramatic possibilities, but the movie approaches it on the level of a dim-witted sitcom. Despite the controversy, the film was a box office success. On its opening weekend, it debuted number 3 behind Crocodile Dundee and The Color of Money with $4.4 million in total. Soul Man went on to gross $27.8 million domestically. A music video for the title track, originally by Sam and Dave and performed by Sam Moore and Lou Reed, was released. The video stars Bruce Willis, Sybil Shepherd, Ray Don Chung, C. Thomas Howell, Ronald Reagan Jr., George Segal, Jamie Farr, boxer Ray Mancini, and the children's character Gumby, all lip syncing to the song. Tish recruited the actors to do the cameos. Chong later defended the film, saying of the controversy, "It's only controversial because Spike Lee made a thing of it. He'd never seen the movie and he just jumped all over it. He was just starting and pulling everything down in his wake. If you watch the movie, it's really making white people look stupid. The film is adorable and it didn't deserve it. I always tried to be an actor who was doing a part that was a character versus what I call black-ting or playing my race, because I knew that I would fail because I was mixed. Chong is African, Chinese, and European ancestry. I was the black actor for sure, but I didn't lead with my epidermis, and that offended people like Spike Lee, I think. You're either militant or you're not, and he decided to just attack. I've never forgiven him for that because it really hurt me. I didn't realize at the time that not pushing the Afrocentric agenda was going to bite me. When you start to do well, people start to say you're a Tom, as in Uncle Tom, because you're acceptable." Lee responded by saying, "In my film career, any comment or criticism has never been based on jealousy. A white man donning blackface is taboo," said Howell. "Conversation over you can't win, but our intentions were pure. We wanted to make a funny movie that had a message about racism." Howell later explained, "I'm shocked at how truly harmless that movie is and how the anti-racial message involved in it is so prevalent. This isn't a movie about blackface. This isn't a movie that should be considered irresponsible on any level. It's very funny. It made me much more aware of the issues we face on a day-to-day basis, and it made me much more sensitive to racism. It's an innocent movie. It's got innocent messages, and it's got some very, very deep messages. And I think the people that haven't seen it, that judge it, are horribly wrong. I think that's more offensive than anything. Judging something you haven't seen is the worst you can really do. In fact, Soul Man sort of represents that all the way through. I think it's really innocent movie with a very powerful message, and it's an important part of my life. I'm proud of the performance, and I'm proud of the people that were in it. A lot of people ask me today, could that movie be made today? Robert Downey Jr. just did it in Tropic Thunder. The difference is that he was just playing a character in Tropic Thunder, and there was no magnifying glass on racism, which is so prevalent in our country. I guess that's what makes people more uncomfortable about Soul Man, but I think it's an important movie. Downey Jr. referenced Howell and Soul Man when addressing the potential controversy over his role in Tropic Thunder. At the end of the day, it's always about how well you commit to the character. If you don't feel the role in Tropic Thunder was morally sound, or that it would be easily misinterpreted that I'm just C. Thomas Howell and Soul Man, I would have stayed home. Mathcore band Botch had a track named C. Thomas Howell as the Soul Man on their album We Are Romans, 1999. Soul Man was released on DVD March 19th, 2002 by Anchor Bay Entertainment. Special features included a theatrical and teaser trailer along with the audio commentary by Miner and Howell. On November 20th, 2007, it was re-released by Anchor Bay as a double feature with Fraternity Vacation 1985. On October 20th, 2011, it was released by Image Entertainment as a double feature with 13 Again. I'd be interested to see Tropic Thunder. I think I'll add that to my list. And nobody's in the room. Cool. I'm going to get this movie review in quick, just like my last one. All right. Soul Man, 1986, rated PG-13, 1 hour, 44 minutes. It gets a mediocre 5.3 out of 10 on IMDb, 9,400 ratings. To achieve his dream of attending Harvard, a pampered teen poses as a young black man to receive a full scholarship. C. Thomas Howell had to wear colored contacts when his skin was toned to look black. His eyes are normally a goldfish color, really stood out once his skin was darkened. After Mark is arrested, he is beaten up by baseball players while in jail. This takes place shortly before Thanksgiving, and baseball season of any time would be over by then. Here's some quotes from Professor Banks and Mark. Professor Banks, you've learned something I can't teach them. You've learned what it feels like to be black. Mark. No, sir. Professor Blanks, beg your pardon? Mark, I don't really know what it feels like, sir. If I didn't like it, I could always get out of it. It's not the same, sir. Professor Banks, you've really learned a great deal more than I thought. This was featured in Siskel and Ebert, The Color of Money, Sid and Nancy, Down by Law, and Clockwise. 1986. Soundtracks, Hoochie Coochie Man by Willie Dixon, performed by Muddy Waters, courtesy of CBS Records. I better give Muddy Waters some music credit here. I have to say I didn't like the music at the end of the rolling credits. It started to irritate me. It's like some love ballad from pop music from 1986. It's really bad. Al Llewellyn 1 posted a review on IMDb. It's very flattering, 10 out of 10. This one's dated August 12th, 2003. Al Llewellyn says, great entertainment with something to say. Al Llewellyn 1. When I started to watch this film, I thought, not another teen movie. That's not to say it wasn't funny, because it was hilarious. But then something happened in the film as it began to give a message of racism in U.S. society in particular and the world by inference. The premise that a white student could become black just by using tanning pills is so ridiculous. But if you get over that funny leap in belief and you believe this film, your time will be rewarded with a sentimental love story with an anti-racist message. And what's more, the movie makes you think, what if I were black? Would I be treated like that just on the basis of the color or the color of, as you uh, as you U.S. citizens spell it, of my skin? The main character Howell comes off as a bit of a jerk. Pardon my language at first, but you see him mature with what he sees happening around him. His self importance disappears with every racist moment, and we are left with not a broken man, as maybe someone who had to put up with it all through their life, a black person, but because he can go back to being seen as important in society, i.e., a white man, he's left enriched by the experience and an infinitely better person. The love angle is very well portrayed, especially by two people who actually went on to get married after the movie in real life, which just shows the chemistry between them on screen. The only thing after seeing this movie that I can see wrong with it is its competing ideas and themes. You're not sure what you have watched. Was it a teen movie, love story, drama, or anti-racist propaganda? Personally, as someone who likes all these types of movies, I think it was my greatest modern movie of all time. Wow, that's quite that's quite a rousing compliment for this movie. More like this: Secret Admirer, Grandview, USA, Side Out, and Oxford Blues. I think I'll just stick with the other movie that I mentioned. Tropic Thunder. I'm going to look for Tropic Thunder after this. He paints his face like the black and white minstrels. Grandview, USA. What is Grandview, USA? What is Grandview, USA? Oh, it's got John Cusack. This movie reminded me of Better Off Dead. I have no idea what Grandview, USA has to do with Soul Man, but Adrian is in the chat room. He says he paints his face like a black and white minstrels. Grandview, USA movie. Okay. I guess I'll look up Tropic Thunder and Grandview, USA, which has Jamie Lee Curtis, Patrick Swayze, C. Thomas Howell, Troy Donahue, Jennifer Jason Leigh, and John Cusack. Maybe I've already reviewed it. I have to double check. Let me double check on that. If I haven't reviewed it yet, I will add it to my list if it's not already on there. Let's see, Grandview, USA. It's another movie with C. Thomas Howell. That's the connection here. No, I couldn't find Grandview, USA on YouTube, Tubi, or Amazon Prime. Either that or I've already watched and reviewed it and I just don't remember. Anyways, we'll look up Tropic Thunder, and possibly Grandview USA if I haven't reviewed it already. So next 3 on my list. Let's see what we got coming down the pike. First on the list is Firewalker, 1986. Then Foreign Correspondent, 1940. Big Town After Dark, 1947. Those are the next 3. Thanks, Adrian, for going in the chat room. I will look up Grandview USA. Adrian's seen Firewalker. He didn't like it, which is not surprising. It's a Karate Man recommendation. But so is this one. Soul Man was recommended by Karate Man. I think it was. Anyways, I will look up Firestarter. I said Firewalker. Adrian has not seen Firewalker. He got it mixed up with Firestarter. All right. That's an easy to understand mistake. Okay. Well, I'm going to take a nap and wake up at like 5 in the morning. Go back to work. I've been recovering from the emergency room these past 2 days. I've been in lockdown mode. It reminded me of being in lockdown during the public health emergency, having to rest my leg with this Baker cyst on my right leg. Oh, man. Hopefully I can get that thing drained out with some steroids on Saturday when I go to the UCSF urgent care. And I've got to go back to work. Here's my official note from the nurse practitioner. There it is. That's my ticket to 1 day of sick pay at work. Anyways, I'll talk to you later. I may have also reviewed Foreign Correspondent. I got to look. 8 people in the chat room watching for my political incorrect comments. Well, it's all because of Spike Lee. It's Spike Lee's fault. He condemned this movie and then NAACP went after it. Laters.